To be honest, I filmed this once already and then found out I wasn't recording the whole time. I'm a little bummed about it, but I guess I'll redo everything now. So here we go. So today I'm doing a tier list. Everybody knows tier lists. Everybody's done a tier list. They look like fun, so I wanted to do one too. So I'm doing a tier list that's basically about anime tropes or just things that are in anime. My categories are I fuck with this, top tier, give me every time, yes, sign me up, I ain't gonna say no, true mid, and maybe if I close my eyes, honestly I'm upset, and bottom garbage tier is send this to hell, because that's how I feel. Send it right to hell. No thank you. First up we have the Dairy Dairy, which, you know, cute, adorable. What's not to like about a Dairy Dairy? Honestly, sign me up. They're a good time almost every time. We have the Sundari, which is one of my favorites. Always like a good Sundari. 10 out of 10, honestly. 10 out of 10. Next we have the Yandere, which, honestly, for someone who says they want to get stabbed all the time, I don't actually want to be stabbed. I'm like a woman who could stab me, but I don't actually want her to stab me. Also, like, yanderes are a bit possessive, and I don't really like that. And I'm gonna say I'm upset. I'm upset. I don't like them very much. Next we have a Dandere, which, cute, simple. I ain't gonna say no. And then we have the Kudere, which, honestly, when it comes to Kuderes, they're kind of middle tier for me. And then we have the Kamidere, and honestly, I find a god complex kind of off-putting a little bit, but also they can make for a really good protagonist. So I'm gonna say maybe if I close my eyes. Then we have a Bakadere, which, I mean, I ain't gonna say no. I definitely don't actively look for a Bakadere, but they're pretty cute when they're there. Next we have the Cave Dawn, which I think it's something that when I was in high school, I really liked it when it happened in manga and anime, but as I got older, it's kind of cringy now. A little too, it's very aggressive, right? It's forward, it's aggressive, but also I can appreciate it for what it was when I did enjoy it. And sometimes, in certain situations, it can be kind of steamy. It can be kind of good. So I'm going to say true mid. And on the same note as that, we have the Ashidan, which is a Cave Dawn, but with your leg instead of your arm. And I think it's really similar, but also it's more aggressive. It's definitely more aggressive. But also it's funnier. It makes me laugh a little. It's pretty funny. So I think it's still, in both those things kind of cancel each other out for me. So it's still mid. Next we have something that's not maybe necessarily particularly in anime and manga, but it's more of a meme. But I enjoy it. It's super funny. And that's the Cicada blog. I'm going to put it in. Honestly, sign me up. They're funny. The next trope thing we have is the chosen one or like an OP main character. And honestly, I don't really like them that much because I like my main characters to have to work hard and like work for the things that they achieve. And I like them to struggle a little. So honestly, I'm just going to put that I'm upset because it makes me kind of, I'm over it. On the opposite of that, would be a good training montage, which, honestly, I'll fuck with this. Who doesn't like a good training montage? I like a good training montage. Next we have the harem, which really isn't my thing. Honestly, send this to hell. We have the reverse harem, which again, I mean, it's very similar. it's just flipped. I still don't... Definitely when I was younger, like in high school, I liked reverse harems a little bit more. But also, they're just kind of cringy a little bit. And it's very insincere. Like, it really just depends on the execution for it. So I'm just going to say, maybe if I close my eyes. Next we have the age gap. And honestly, this is kind of like, it depends, right? But if they're both adults, I can get behind that. You know, who doesn't like a silver fox? As long as you're also like in your 20s or 30s. But I think because it has such like the polar thing, and there's so many of those stupid fucking teacher student things, like gross, I'm gonna have to put it in mid just because they balance each other out in how much I like or dislike it, you know. Okay, and then next we have animal features, or, you know, animal characteristics. And so, like, that can be, like, you know, little cat ears. That can be full-on beastmen. And honestly, both are good. Both are a good time. Honestly, sign me up. I like both of them. Unrequited Love. And here's the thing. I really like Unrequited Love. But if it's a character that I am personally kind of relating to, that has the unrequited love, it's just going to make me really sad. But if it's secondary characters or other characters, then I really like it. It's angsty. It's good. So I'm just going to say, I mean, it would be, I fuck with this, but just because if it's the main character, it just makes me sad. So I'm just going to say sign me up. Because I like it if it's anybody else. Next we have Love at First Sight. So honestly, it's kind of tepid for me. It can be sometimes good, but also a lot of the times it's Love at First Sight is kind of an unrealistic thing. I know some people say that they've had it, and all that stuff, but it's not practical, is what it is. It's just mid for me. Next we have what I like to call the she's all that trope, which, you know, refers to, you know, a girl or a guy who's, you know, they wear glasses, their like hair's messy, they got it in braids, whatever. And, you know, someone takes off their glasses or undoes their braids and suddenly they're beautiful. No, I don't like that. Because it's kind of rude as hell, because they would have been beautiful the whole time. Glasses and braids and whatnot don't make you not beautiful. Like, that makes no sense. It's kind of rude. It's also kind of common too, where if it's like they were overweight or something and they lose all this weight, suddenly they're super hot and everybody wants to date them, blah, 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 blah. That's really toxic, honestly. And personally, you know, when you go through that kind of change, like, I don't want to talk to anybody who is mean to me. Ew, that's gross. The only time it's remotely sometime okay is when it's like maybe a revenge story, but even then that's kind of pushing it because it's super unhealthy. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Like, the best revenge is just living a good life. So honestly, I'm gonna say I'm upset. I don't like it. It's not a good trope. And even then, sometimes when those revenge stories are kind of fun, they're usually just kind of sad. Especially when they just like fall in love anyway, and I'm like, this person bullied you your whole life. No thanks. Next we have childhood friends. Who doesn't like childhood friends? They're cute. Especially like, you know, just friends in general are a good time. I'm just gonna say sign me up. Rivals. Again, who doesn't like a good rival? I definitely like it. It's not something I seek out though, but I like a good rival story. So I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say no. It's usually a good time. I like it. Kind of similar to that, we have enemies to lovers. Which honestly, I fuck with this. That's some good shit. Because usually one or both of them are big sundaries. And as we already have figured out, I'm into sundaries. So, yes. Okay, next category we have is the daddies or the DILFs. Whatever you'd like to call them. And honestly, And similar to that, we have, MILFs. And I mean, I can appreciate a good MILF. They're not something I'm like looking for, but I can appreciate a good MILF. So I ain't gonna say no. Completely opposite side of that, we now have a lolly / shota. And I put them together because I have the same feelings towards the two of them. If it's like in a sibling kind of way, that you're like, they're adorable, they're cute, you want to take care of them, you want them to be your little sister or brother. Yes. Sign me up, love that shit. But if it's in any kind of romancy way, gross. Honestly, gross. I'm just gonna put I'm upset because a lot of times it is that. Ooh. If it was just that, send it right to hell. No thank you. Next we have cheating / NTR. Yeah. Just gonna put that right there. No thank you. Then we have uniforms. Honestly, who doesn't like a good uniform? School, military, whatever. I like someone in uniform. Honestly, sign me up. Sign me up. And similar but different, we have traditional clothes. Again, I love traditional clothes in anime and manga. I love it. I usually read historical stuff or fantasy stuff because I like the traditional clothes a lot and just the whole vibe. Next we have a brother-sister complex. And I mean, honestly, it's usually cute, it's usually protective, and it's usually funny. Honestly, I fuck with this. It's a good time. Similar, we have step-relative relations. Honestly, true mid, because sometimes it can be done really well, sometimes it's just kind of whatever, it's just mid. It's mid for me. And then we have fudanchi or fujoshis. And I mean that in the like how they're portrayed in anime or manga. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of how they're portrayed because, again, I don't think there's be a fujoshi, be a fudanchi, it's fine. But like the way they're shown in anime and manga is kind of unflattering for them, and it's usually in like a weird way, and honestly, I'm kind of upset about it. So, and next we have the second male lead, and honestly, I definitely get second male lead syndrome sometimes. But if I don't get it, I actually don't want them to be there at all. They're usually just stirring the pot, just adds drama. I'd rather they just weren't there. But if I do like the second male lead, honestly, I just want them to win, and I wish them. And it's usually because the main character sucks ass, and I don't like them. So honestly, I'm just gonna say I ain't gonna say no, because really the only time I've liked second male leads were probably times where, and technically they might not even be second male leads because maybe they win in the end, maybe they don't, but maybe they're pretty close. Are they still a second male lead if they end up winning? I don't know. That's a good question. Maids and butlers. And honestly, it's maybe not my thing. I can kind of see why people might like it. But it's not really my thing. I definitely can appreciate it though. So just mid. It's mid for me. Next we have the contract relationship. See, in some cases I do really like it. In other cases it's kind of trappy and kind of confining it for one of the parties. And I don't really care for that very much. So I'm just going to say maybe if I close my eyes. The next very classic thing we have in anime and manga, and that is the panty shot. Okay. Sometimes I can think that they're pretty funny, but most of the time it's just kind of unnecessary for me. I'm not that into it. I understand though when people enjoy them though. But maybe if I close my eyes, because sometimes, but most of the time not. Next we have the senpai or kohai relationship. And honestly, I fuck with this. I like that. That's super cute. It's a good time. I like it. It's usually a really fun dynamic. Then we have the tournament arc. So like, I definitely can like a good tournament arc. It's not something I usually like seek out, but I can enjoy them for what they are. Sometimes they just take up a little bit too much time for me, but honestly, I ain't gonna say no. Fan service, girls. And honestly, it's not really my thing. I'm gonna say true mid, because honestly, it's fine. And I mean, similar to that, and in the same sense, we have fan service, but the guy edition. And I have the same feelings for it, honestly. They're both mid. And then last but not least, though maybe least depending on your perspective, we have body swap. Who doesn't like a good body swap? Honestly, they're pretty fun. They're usually pretty solid. I'm going to put that in sign me up. So that concludes my tier list. I hope you agreed with me. I hope you disagreed with me. Honestly, let me know in the comments if you think my opinions are shit. If you liked what I said. Honestly, just let me know. Or even if you just want to talk to me about it. I'd love to hear it from people. If you want to know which anime or manga the photos I used were from, I'll put it all down in the description. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in another video.